thanks to the support as a channel member, Alex Boxall. I've had some time to digest it and we're putting a positive spin on it. We finished third. We achieved our goal of getting into the playoffs. We've got a nice platform to build on for next year. Now, let's add the missing pieces of the puzzle during this transfer window and fingers crossed just win the league next year because I hate the playoffs. Playoffs are rubbish. Welcome to part 16 of Wembley to Wembley. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode is our season review and transfer special at the end of season 2 of The Save. As you can see, a trophyless season 2. Football Manager's too easy. Shut up. Football Manager's too easy, my eye. So, our signing of the season went to Jay Hards, which is, that's, what? Excuse me? He started 4 games. This is weird, isn't it? How do you not give it to, I don't know, someone who played loads of games? Ryan McNichol, I think, was a really impressive signing. I got mocked for signing him with his 1 goal the season before, 20 goal contributions and a 7.06 average rating. That's a decent signing. I think he's probably been a little bit harshly done by there. But yeah, Jay Hards is your signing of the season, so more of those, I guess. He'll come good. He's young and he is good. We just had a lot of players in that position. We were supposed to finish in the playoff spots. In fact, it says there top half finish. I'm sure they changed that once the season began to playoff spots, but top half finish, we've overperformed even further. So we were supposed to finish top half. We finished third, and you know, the 2 teams that finished above us both got promoted, so we are the best of the rest, and fingers crossed the clubs that come down won't be as good as the 2 that have gone up, and we'll win the league next year. That's the hope, that's the theory that I'm working with. And we did have a little bit of a slow start to the season. If we'd have played as well all year as we did in the second half of the season, I think we'd have had a very good chance of winning the league anyway, so who knows, eh? We'll see. We'll see what happens. Financially, things are still a complete mess. They're not even really worth looking at because money is kind of meaningless at this level. Sponsorships and broadcast revenue, and all of this is effectively nothing. Match day revenue increased because we had that little bit of a cup run, and I guess we got a few more fans through the doors. In fact, one thing I haven't checked on is our average attendance for the year to see if that went up. We'll look at that in a second. But this was our team of the year, and again, boys who would feel harshly done by about not being signing of the season: Harris, O'Sullivan, McNichol, Ward. I don't know why he's showing us only playing 1 game. He played all season for us, so that I think that's taken his average from his parent club rather than from us. Russ Eddy, of course, one of the breakout stars of the season. Worry has now retired. Terry goes back to his parent club, so there's work to do in a few positions here because we've no longer got Ward, Worry, or Terry, and obviously we need to upgrade everywhere else as well. I mean, if we could find a goalkeeper, that would be lovely. And I also personally love the fact that Football Manager thinks I'm playing a wing play tactical style with this formation. I assure you, we are not. Fans Player of the Year went to Ryan McNichol, so that's much more sensible. I still don't see why he's not signing of the season, but he got Player of the Season, Young Player of the Year, Anton Canerva, who actually got a better average rating than McNichol, so probably would argue he should have been Player of the Year. He did play fewer games though. Russ Eddy scored Goal of the Season. Anton Canerva finishes top scorer with 15 goals. Russ Eddy most assists with 10. Homegrown's the way forward. There's been people in the comments telling me not to bother with the young players. The young players are the core of the team at this level. Most man of the matches went to McNichol, highest rating also to McNichol. Alfie Terry, best pass completion, but he is now done. He's finished. We did set some club records as well. Jamie Sant, who actually was the real top scorer, got 17 league goals, 19 goals in all competitions, both club records, both from midfield as well, so he's going to be a tough one to replace. Canerva got the record for most goals in a match, our first ever hat-trick of the Save. McNichol also getting a hat-trick in a league game, which I guess is the second hat-trick we ever got in the Save. Harry Dillon, after all that abuse that I've given him all year, 10 clean sheets, new club record. Take it with a pinch of salt. Remember the level that we're at. Sant, most man of the matches. Worry is our oldest player ever. Fastest goal went to Oliver Ward, and Aaron Harris is our oldest goal scorer. I mean, records like that one, I suspect will stand for a very, very long time. I don't anticipate signing any more 38-year-olds. We'll see, though, I guess. This is our all-time best 11. So Garrick is still in it. He is, oh my word, So he left us after 15 goals last year. 26 appearances, 0 goals. What level is that? That's the same level we're at. So it shows what a difference the team you're playing in can make. This is why McNichol worked for us and maybe didn't work elsewhere. Lincoln Garrick, I said he wasn't good enough. 0 goals in 26 appearances, 6.33 average rating. That is one of the worst seasons I've ever seen anyone have in the history of Football Manager. He's in our all-time Dream 11. Oh my word. Hamilton is in there as well. He's playing for Nuneaton Griff and has actually had a more acceptable season, but he has dropped down a level. He's now playing at tier 10 and his average rating has dropped massively. I say a more acceptable season. He's another one who's massively fallen off since leaving us, so was overperforming for us. And also Seamus Black, who I was a big fan of when he was here, but his average rating didn't necessarily match it up. But again, he's moved on. Parson Drove are in the level 10 as well, so the tier below us, and his performances have dropped off massively as well. So these players who we've had and got rid of aren't actually very good. Who knew? We've seen the season review. There's the bonus payout thing. Just to confirm once again, we're not playing anything remotely wing play. We're not playing wide. We're not doing anything in the attacking areas, in the wide areas. So I don't know why it keeps telling me that we're playing wing play. But we have had a little bit of a boost when it comes to club finances for the new season. Not these ones. We ignore those. They're none of my business. But the one that is my business is the fact that despite this, the board have increased our wage budget, which is very welcome. And they've put that up to £959 per week. So that's an increase of about £150 a week. And I think despite it backfiring last year, we're just going to take the scouting budget again, because I actually don't think we need to do any scouting. So we're going to rely fully on free transfers that my director of football recommends us, which allows us to push this over into... we can't. It's why I don't know why it's not letting me do that. Probably because of what we did last year. It's like, no, Kev. No, you're not doing that again. Okay, fair enough. I'll do some scouting then. I'm getting that money out of you one way or another, you rascals. So we do have a little bit of spensies. We've also already made a signing for this summer. George Beattie, another striker. He's come in from where? Where? That could get old fast, but he's scored goals last couple of years. In fact, that's the division above us, the regional first divisions. I thought he was playing at our level. He's actually been scoring goals at the level above. That's an incredible signing, if I do say so myself. I mean, full disclosure, my director of football found him, made the offer, and I was like, oh, you know what? So that one is my director of football signing. He's done good work there. I'm now encouraged about this other one that he's trying to buy as well, because this is the other one that my director of football has identified. I'm waiting until the 1st of July to do my transfers, but my director of football has made an offer for this guy. We're gonna try and scout him. There you go. We are scouting him before deciding whether or not to bring him in. But if he ends up as good as that other guy, what division is he playing in? He's playing at our level. But you know how much better players play when they play for us. So who knows, eh? Maybe he's going to be a superstar as well. We're also trying to loan out some of the kids that we've got knocking around the club, and we've got a lot of the first team squad from this year are out of contract that I'm going to have to make decisions on. All of those boys are out of contract. I'm not yet sure which ones are going to stay. Obviously, someone like Joe Haley. Joe Haley's leaving, isn't he? Yeah, he's already leaving. But maybe someone like Ryan McNichol, sorry. These are the boys that we'll certainly be having a look at and trying to decide how much they want. Like McNichol, for example, if he only wants £20 a week to renew, then we probably renew him, because even if he's not a starter for us next year, he's a very useful player to have. We have had another youth intake come through as well. So, I mean, you've already met the left back, who's actually now had his name in the game name. So this is the guy who was Callum Tamplin before. If I can find him, he's now Mike Kemmerer. So he has now had his new name via the Name in the Game channel members, and hopefully he can keep that kind of form up in the new season. But we'll definitely be keeping an eye on the youngsters as they come through as well. So I think I am going to sit and have a ponder about which ones are these contracts that I want to renew, and then probably meet you back here on the 1st of July. But before we hit the 1st of July, just a quick reminder that the LOLLUJO edition Wembley FC shirts are currently available to pre-order, assuming you're watching this when the episode first comes out. Pre-orders close on May the 5th. After that, they will not be available again, probably. Can't guarantee it, but almost certainly this is going to be the only run we do in these shirts. So if you want to be guaranteed of getting one, you need to act now. Pre-orders close on the 5th of May. We'll then do a big batch order on the manufacturing, and they'll be dispatched late June or so. It's like a 4 to 6 week turnaround once we've got the orders in. But the home shirt and the away shirt, both available, both customizable as well. So you can have a name and number added to the shirts, either your name or number or one of your favourite Wembley players. How many Russ Eddy shirts are being sold? That is weird if we sell a load of Russ Eddy shirts, because obviously Russ Eddy is a real person. He's one of the Name in the Game channel members. So let's all try and weird Russ Eddy out, maybe. The link is at the top of the description below. So we've made it through to the 1st of July, and I've done it again deliberately. I'm aware it's happening this time, but we've got all of these youth players. I've offered every single one of them. Look at the potential on all of them. I mean, this guy might be sneaking through. We've only used 4 stars of potential, but if a kid's got 5-star potential, they get a contract. I know it doesn't mean a lot at this level, and I probably should be looking at the ones who are actually ready to play, like Jacob Donovan, Kean Scully, Rob Harley, but I want our youth players to be a big part of this football club. The only problem with bringing all of them in on contracts means I did manage to sneak the scout budget into my wage budget, but it means we've almost spent it all already. And that's with some of the more established players from last year leaving as well, because Ryan McNichol went to play for the Hereford Lads Club in, what league is that? The same level. We've moved up to the 228th rank from 230th. Our league's getting better. Aaron Harris has gone to Chipping Sodbury, who are also in at this level. And we also already knew about Joe Haley leaving. He's gone to Amanford in Wales. So that's him gone as well, which means with all but £80 a week of our budget gone, this is what our squad looks like currently. Obviously, we've got all those youngsters as well, and we can bring some of them in to fill the gaps. But with a greyed out goalkeeper, that's 16 players. Chris Edwards, I think, will be leaving, actually. Yeah, Chris Edwards leaves today. So 15 players and a greyed out goalkeeper, plus a bunch of youngsters. If we actually look at players who are any good, we've got a core of maybe 7 or 8 players who are actually good enough to play for us. So Sullivan, Lynch, Beattie, Gray, Wilson. We're even putting Dylan in that number. Possibly Giannis Drakos, who came through the youth system last summer. I think at 2.5 stars, he's probably ready to start starting. He's better than last season's signing of the season, Jay Hards. So I think Drakos is probably going to be a starting centre-back for us this year. Kemmerer at 16 probably is going to start at left-back. Remy Dallison, I'm a little bit more worried about him because when we've used him, he hasn't looked great. But he's better than Anton Canerva on star rating, and Canerva scored loads of goals for us. Pierce and Martin and Eddie, Antwi, the 4 pillars. These boys all need using next year, so we're going to use them. But obviously, we're also going to try and fill the squad in with a couple more. I mean, with the money that we've got left, we can maybe fit in 3 or 4 proper established players for this level. We don't have a huge number of them currently. Obviously, Beattie, Wilson, O'Sullivan, Gray and Hards probably, and I guess you put Harry Dillon in that list because he's played for us for a year now, so that establishes him maybe. So if we can add another 3 or 4, we could almost get a first 11 of established players and then use the youngsters as the backups, which I guess makes sense, still with loans to add in as well. It's not going to be the huge sweeping 18 players in on free transfer that I'm used to doing at like National League North and South level, but we're adjusting to being in Tier 9. I'm slowly but surely figuring it out, and let's face it, we've got to get promoted this year. Although once again, they've lowered this to top half finish. Before, that was showing as playoff. They need to make up their mind. What do the media think we're going to do before we've done any transfers? Down in 12th place, oh my word. So Enfield, who've just been relegated, are strong favourites to go straight back up again. Aylesbury have been relegated as well and are considered better than us, and Berkhamsted have been relegated and are considered better than us as well. This looks like it's potentially a tougher league this year than it was last year, so we need to find a way to improve, and at the moment we've just lost like 4 or 5 of last year's key players, so we need to go and replace them and then hopefully luck into some good loans. It'll be fine. Oh, remember me never getting offered any job interviews in non-league to legend? I've already had one that I turned down from Bromsgrove Sporting. 3 in the exact same minute hitting my inbox there. I think that totals 5 for the save now, 2 years in. I didn't get 5 job interviews during the entirety of Non-League to Legend this year. So clearly, whatever was stopping that happening at the start of that save that made that save a little bit odd this year is fixed, because job interviews are plenty. Well, we've managed to bring 4 players in, and with the contract renewals that happened, it's taken us well over budget. I'm not worried about that at the moment, because I'm hoping to be able to loan out a lot of the youngsters that should get us back in budget, and it's what we did last year, and it worked out okay. These signings, though, are likely to be spurring on a change of tactic, because we've signed central midfielders, this guy, I guess, is he's a defensive midfielder. Which one's a central midfielder? He's the central midfielder. Kieran Whittaker is a central midfielder who, by the way, on his debut in a friendly, got both injured and sent off, which I thought was spectacular. He's fit again now, though. He's joined via Buckland Road, previously of Sporting Calsa and Wolves Casuals. But he's a central midfielder. He can play further forward or out wide if need be, but I think we're switching to a diamond. Spoilers, I think we're switching to a diamond. We've also got Valks Fernandez. I don't really know how to say his first name. He's done the non-league tour, though. He's a defensive midfielder. We've got Josh Bayliss, who's a young striker who looks like he's quite good. He was playing for Rustall, who play, I think, at this level. Yeah, they play at this level. I think they were in our league. Although that's not our league, so maybe they weren't in our league. But he was scoring goals last season. Okay, 8 goals. But you know what? McNichol had scored 1 and then did really well last year. So I'm positive about that. And then we've got a left back as well, so we don't have to play a 16-year-old with 1 star there. Ari Chadha is a left back who comes in from Notts County. So the squad is still not like absolutely chock full of players. If we get rid of all the youngsters that were in for our little friendly cup that we play, we've got a squad of 18 players. Only one of them is a goalkeeper, so we'll have to have a goalkeeper step up from the youth team. But you know what? 18 players with the amount of youngsters that we've got at the club to fill in the gaps. I mean, you'd argue we've probably got far too many youngsters. This is why we're struggling with our wage budget, because we've got 58 young players earning between £5 and £20 a week at the club. So that's probably something to think about for the future. Maybe, as much as I like my 5-star potential players, maybe we don't need 58 of them. Maybe some of these with the lower potential could potentially be moved off of their £20 a week contracts. Maybe they didn't need 2-year deals at the time. There's a lot of maybes, but we're not going to worry about them. We're just going to try and loan a lot of those guys out. But this is our first team. If we have a look at what our best 11 would be based on a diamond, you've got Dallison and Drakos at centre-back, which is a little bit alarming. We could probably do with loading in a centre-back, Newboy Chadha, and then Gray at right-back, Dylan in goal, Newboy Fernandez at the base of the midfield, and then Whittaker and Sean Martin in central midfield, O'Sullivan then behind Newboys, Bayliss and Beattie up front, with some decent options off the bench as well. I mean, we could also stick with the system that we've used for the last couple of years, but then we're playing Michael Wilson as the other holding midfielder and sacrificing some of the talent we've got in central midfield. I think we probably, with the squad that we've got now, suit this setup a little bit better. It certainly gets more senior players in the team and keeps the youngsters like Russ Eddy down on the bench, which is probably the best place for them to be starting from. There are still some gaps in the squad. According to the squad planner, we need a right back, we need another defensive midfielder, we need another goalkeeper. We're going to have to make do with loans for them because obviously the financial situation isn't great. But based on those signings, we've now moved up to 7th favourites for promotion. We still don't have anyone anywhere near being the best player in the division. Bayliss is our best player. Let's have a look at him again. So this is Josh Bayliss, the young striker. I mean, if he comes in and scores an absolute hatful of goals for us, then we're all very happy, aren't we? I'd be very happy. Look how happy I'd be. But I mean, that seems about right. We're not a team that is supposed to waltz the league. We did very well last year. Hopefully, if we can get a solid start, we can do all right again this year and push for those playoffs again. I realise it is a YouTube series and we do need to get out of this league eventually, but this is what Tier 9 is like. It takes time. We've got no money. We've got to do this slowly but surely, and maybe sacrifice some of these young players next year. Just maybe. We'll see. But I'm going to try and get some loans together. We've won the Wembley Cup for the second year in a row. The new season starts in a couple of weeks, so hopefully we get some loans in place before then. But if not, we've got plenty of time to do it. We've got to loan some players out as well. But I'm not upset about the squad that we've got going into the new season, as long as they can stay fit. The fact that we've got that injury to Fernandes straight away is a little bit alarming. He's only out for a week or so it should be fine for the new season. But I think there's definitely players, there's definitely positions we could do with strengthening. Well, we tried to bring in a couple of loans. They've both gone elsewhere though. So as it is, we're going into the first day of the season with this as our new look starting 11. It's not quite where we would want it to be because Fernandes is not fully fit. Jay Hards is not fully fit. Sean Martin, Mike Kemmerer, these boys are not fully fit. In fact, we'll take Kemmerer off the bench and put Colin McCourt, another one of our young left backs. He can sit on the bench today as these guys are all struggling for fitness. So this is not necessarily what the new first 11 looks like, but I think it does look pretty strong. I'm a little bit concerned about centre-back. I really do think we probably need another one. I think Drakos is going to be great, but he is only 16 years old, and this is a big breakout season for Remy Dallison. Still only 17 himself, but has looked a little bit iffy when he's played for us last year. Although, to be fair, he is one of those who burst straight into the team, similar to Russ Eddy, played those final few matches after he came through the youth system at the end of that year. So I did have great hopes for him at one point. Now he's my starting centre-back. Francis Antwi is still here, but I think we're going to loan him out. I think I might be done with Antwi, even though he's got 2 more years left on his contract. So I can't really afford to be done with him, but we'll loan him out to try and bring somebody else in. Chadder at left back, Josh Gray, who was very solid for us at right back last year. I think we're very strong at full back. I'm pretty confident of being able to do a diamond based on how strong our 2 wing backs are. It's not ideal that we're having to play Wilson rather than Fernandes, but Fernandes isn't fit, so Wilson should be fine to sit in there and cover. Remember, he was a starter for Risborough Rangers last year before we brought him in. Risborough Rangers won the playoffs and got promoted. He walked out on them, came to play for us, didn't get promoted, watched his old teammates go up, and then became a reserve here, all in the space of about 6 months. It's not been a great time for Michael Wilson. Hopefully that turns around now for the new season. And then we have got new boy Kieran Whittaker in midfield. Fancies himself as a playmaker. We'll let him have a go at it. We'll see what happens. Love the fact that 2 years ago he got an average rating of 5.63. Didn't see that when I spent £45 a week on him. I think that's what he's on, £40 a week. One of the highest paid players at the club. It'll be fine. Dom Pearce, big opportunity for him to establish himself back in the team as a starter. He was obviously a key player for us first season. Kind of lost his spot to Russ Eddy last year, but the advantage he's got over Russ Eddy is Russ Eddy can't really play centre mid. Dom Pearce can. So I see a version where we have Eddy, Pearce and Martin all together in this diamond midfield, but not today, just Dom Pearce for this one. And then Daniel O'Sullivan wants to be a shadow striker. Let's let him be a shadow striker. He was great when he came in back end of last season, 7 goal contributions from 13 starts and a 7.25. Did have someone playing alongside him though, usually Russ Eddy or the Sant, the other guy that we had in on loan last year. I forget about him as soon as they leave, but he's got to do it on his own now, but he's going to have a little bit more support behind him. So fingers crossed that works. And then up front, we've got our captain and vice captain. We've got George Beattie as new club captain at 29 years old. Big hope on him. Vice captain, Anton Canerva. So he gets the nod to start up front today. But we've obviously got Josh Bayliss ready to step in for either of them, and various decent options on the bench as well. So even without loans, I still think that's not a terrible team. The media think otherwise and think we're going to finish in 9th. Who are we playing first day? Wallingford and Cromarsh. Bit harsh of a triple threat match first game of the season, but they are supposedly one of the worst teams in the division. So hopefully we start the season tomorrow with a nice big win. If not, this is a problem because we really do need to get promoted this year. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.